What's going on, everybody? Z-Man here. Welcome back to part 2 of the aged mod pack guide that I've put together. If you haven't seen part 1 just yet, I highly suggest you go ahead and check out that video first before watching this one, just so you have a better idea of getting how to get started in this mod pack. If you've already gotten started and you know what you're doing, this would be a great video for you just for exploring some of the other features that are within this mod pack. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's go ahead and get started. So starting off here at the furnaces, obviously you unlock the regular furnace at smithing level 3, and then at the smithing 18, you unlock the blast furnace. But with the furnace here, you're only going to be able to smelt nugget variations of ores. So iron nuggets, gold, anything like that you can find around the world, you can only smelt the nugget variations in here. And then in the blast furnace here, you're going to be able to smelt steel ingots. As a matter of fact, all you'll need is 2 iron ingots and 2 pieces of coal. Combine those and you will make a steel ingot. But you're going to be able to smelt up blocks of ores and regular ores as well. The blast furnace is still pretty slow in all honesty, especially if you're going to be putting in stuff like this block of raw iron. It's going to take a lot longer to smelt down as compared to just smelting a single piece of raw iron, but that ability is very helpful when you're trying to get a bulk amount of ore at a time. Moving on here, you can see that we have ourselves an anvil here. Obviously, you're used to the general UI of an anvil for repairing and naming your items, but as you can see, we have a second tab here known for reforging your gear. Now, what this means is you're going to be able to change the rarity or the tier of your items whenever you put them through here. So for example, we're going to go ahead and take this iron sword here. What you'll need obviously is the item that you're trying to reforge, the resource that the item is made of, and then you have 4 different types of shards that you're going to be able to repair or reforge your items with. You can use echo shards, calcite shards, amethyst shards, or amorite shards. We'll just go ahead and take the amorite shards and we will head on over to the reforge tab. Obviously right now this doesn't have any tiers on it, but once you go ahead and throw in the resource and the shards, you can hit reforge and now we have an uncommon. Now you can do this as many times as you'd like. Obviously you can see that we're changing the different attributes depending on what tier these weapons are. So I don't know, there isn't a specific chance of getting better gear as well. There we go. We have a legendary iron sword. Now, obviously, you can do this as many times as you want as long as you have the shards and the resource necessary to do so. All right, so if we head over to the smithing table here, which you're able to unlock at level 1 smithing, and then the grindstone at level 10 mining, you can attach gems to your things. Now, you have the option of 5 different types of gems. The strength gem, the defense gem, health, speed, and attack speed gems. So far, I've only been able to get gem slots on my swords and stuff like that. I can't seem to get it on armor for whatever reason. But as you can see here, a legendary item can get up to 4 slots. Now, for each item that you craft, you have the chance for an uncommon item to have 1 gem slot, a rare item to have 2, epic 3, legendary 4, and if you do happen to make a unique item, it gets 5 gem slots. So, how we're going to go ahead and do this is we'll take the item in question and then we'll take the strength 5 gems. So as you can also see, there are 5 different tiers. Tier 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now the way that you can get these gems is mostly by killing mobs. That's going to be the best way to get these gems. So depending on how difficult the mobs are to take out, then you're going to be able to get a higher tier gem. Now, I'm sure if you, like for example, if you kill a zombie, you have a chance to get a strength 1 gem. If you kill like an evoker, you get a strength 3. And then if you kill like the ender dragon or something like that, like a high level boss or anything like that, you will be able to get a tier 5 gem. In order to link your gems as well, you're going to need a smither hammer. Now, there are 4 different tiers to this right here. There is the 5% link chance, 10%, 20%, and 50%. For example, we'll just take the 5% and the 50% just so you can get a quick example of how to do this. You can go ahead, head into the link gear, throw in your sword, choose the gem that you're wanting. As you can see, you can stack the types of gems that you're able to put into here. And then we're going to try the 5% one here. Let's see if we're able to link it. First try, actually, that was surprising. So it does look like the strength and the attack speed are the ones that you're going to be able to link to your weapons, but the defense, health, and speed are going to go on armor. So if you get a piece of armor that has a gem slot, the defense, health, and speed are going to be what you're wanting to link onto these. So let's go ahead and just try 2 of each. We could do 2 strength 5 and 2 attack speed. Let's see if we're able to do that. All right, so it looks like we are not able to put 2 different tiers of the same gem on here as well. So that's something you'll have to keep in mind. But if we go into our chest here, we grab like a tier 4 gem, we can then go ahead and link these up. Right now we have a tier 5 and a tier 4 strength gem, and then a tier 5 attack speed gem. So we're able to link different tiers of our gems into our weapons here. So now you can see that we have a plus 20% attack damage, and our attack speed is a bit higher as well. We can see just how much quicker we're able to actually swing our sword. And this poor pillager here is probably not going to stand a chance. Yeah, that was a one shot. So as you can see, these gems are going to be very useful in making your weapons a lot more powerful as well. Now you're also able to unlink these gems. Now what you're going to have to use is an extraction hammer, which once again you'll be able to find tiers 1 through 3 in the Bastion remnants, and then in tier 4 or the 50% one, you will find those in the end cities. So for testing sakes, we'll head into the grindstone here, and you can see we're able to unlink gear. As you can see, once you put your gem in, it removes the most recent one that you've linked. So since we had 4 gems on here, you can see that it has a chance to remove that 4th gem that we attached. So now that we did that, we can go back in, and it's going to remove that 3rd slot gem. There's also a 50% chance of this happening, so this is probably one of your best chances to be able to do so with removing gems. Like say you had a tier 1 and you wanted to put a tier 3 on here, and you only had 1 spell slot, or I'm sorry, you only had 1 gem slot, then you're going to be able to go into here, use the extraction hammer to remove those gems, put on better ones. Backtracking just a little bit here, I have noticed that it doesn't exactly show on the item here for armor, at least for armor that I've noticed. So if you do put in the legendary helmet here, for example, and throw in the smither hammer, you can see that there are 4 slots open, so you can throw in 1 of each of these gems to get the chance of actually attaching these to your items. As you can see, we are able to link up the gems, the defense, health, and speed gems to your armor. So if we go ahead and throw this on really quick, holy crap, I am really fast now. That speed 5 gem, just even giving a little bit of a boost, has greatly, drastically made moving around that much faster. ADHD brains kicked in. Whee! Another quick note I want to make as well is if you're trying to reforge your weapons in the anvil here, trying to get gem slots and stuff like that, that will not work. I just want to put that out there really quick. If you're trying to reforge your weapons to get like a higher tier sword or anything like that, you're not going to be able to get those spell slots. You will only get those spell slots from crafting the proper tools and or weapons. All right, so moving on to some of the cooking and crafting portions of this mod pack. Now this mod pack runs off of the Let's Do Farm and Charm mod, so there's a lot of different various things of ways to cook and stuff like that. Some of this stuff is unlocked through your skills as well. If we go ahead and take a look in the farming tab here, you can see like the apple press is unlocked at level 6, the crafting bowl is at level 5, at level 7 is the mincer, the cooking cauldron is unlocked at level 10, the winemaker, all this stuff is linked in your skills here, so you can see what stuff is unlocked at various times. So we have the mincer here. If you throw in some meat, we take some raw beef here, and you can throw in up to 4 pieces of any item that you're trying to mince. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you just right click on it, and then it starts spitting out minced beef. And now you can use this minced beef towards many various different kinds of cooking recipes. And then the crafting bowl is what you will use mostly for making bread and stuff like that. And in order to make dough, for example, you'll need some specific ingredients like flour, yeast, and a water bucket. Now, once again, like the mincer, you just right click on it until you get your bucket back. And then with an empty hand, you can right click and you can see that we have some dough now. And then we'll head on over to the stove here, which is where a lot of unique crafting recipes for food are going to be found. Now here you can see we have stuff, a wide variety of different things we're able to cook, from pretzels to stuffed rabbit, gingerbread cookie biscuit things, you know, all kinds of different things. And then we have a couple different other components as well. We have the cooking pot and the roaster. With the roaster, you can see here there's plenty of different other dishes that you will be able to cook, such as bacon with eggs. Now how this works is you're going to need some components like bacon, 2 eggs, 2 pieces of bacon, 2 eggs, and then some butter, and then a bowl. And then your output will usually be around 2 to 3 different servings of that type of food. Now we can even do fried chicken. You can see here we get 2 servings. For roasted lamb with lettuce, you get 2. Now with the cooking pot here, this is where you're going to mostly be working on your components for these various different recipes, like this sweet berry jam. You just throw in a jar, some sugar and sweet berries, and then you get some sweet berry jam. Now, along with the stove, you have the oven, or I'm sorry, these are ovens. This is a stove. This is what you'll use to make some like herbal teas, stuff, whatever you're kind of into. There's a whole lot of different recipes that you can kind of experiment with as you go along through this mod pack. Then obviously you have the cheese press here as well. You can make a couple different kinds of, or quite a few different kinds of cheese. You have grain cheese, warped cheese. It's quite some wacky stuff, but it is pretty cool. Now we'll move on to some of the more quote-unquote useful crafters here. We do have the fletching table, which it does say at level 10 archery you get fletching table use, but if you just right click, it doesn't do anything. So I'm not sure what's going on with that, but shift right click, anything like that does not work. Obviously you guys are familiar with the stone cutter. You throw in some stone, you get a bunch of different variants. So much like the stone cutter, you have the wood cutter here. So you're able to take some wood, you can throw it in here and you'll be able to get different variations of whatever you're trying to make. So oak slabs, oak trap doors. It only takes 1 log per thing that you need to make. And some of these you might get more out of. See it as the oak fence. For 1 oak log, you get 4 of those. For trap doors, 1 oak log gets you 2 oak trap doors, which might be a little bit better than just say a regular. Actually, now that I think about it, it might take a little more because you just need 6 planks. You easily get 4 out of 1. So I don't know about the one now that I think about it. But moving on to the archaeology table, this is where you're going to be able to find various different kinds of things through archaeology. In order to make one of these, you will need 4 planks, a copper brush, and some ancient pottery shards. So in order to get those, you can find artifact shards. That's what they're called. In order to actually get what you're trying to look for here, you're going to need 9 artifact shards and combine them in a crafting table to make this unidentified artifact. Now, as you can see as well, we have 4 different kinds of brushes. We have the regular old copper brush from Minecraft. Then we have the iron brush, diamond brush, and netherite brush. If we go ahead and, for example, take one of these, and we'll take 1 of each, just so you guys can get a quick glance into how this works. So you throw in the brush up here, you throw in the unidentified artifact into there, and then what I've normally been able to find are the enchantment books. I haven't really noticed a different pace to how fast archaeology table gets through these brushes or anything like that. You get 3 different unique enchantments that I have come across. You get the tunneling, you get soaring winds, and penetrating strike. It partially ignores effects of protection enchantments. The soaring winds harnesses wind to give a startup boost when using an elytra, and tunneling also breaks the block below the mine block. So, and then you can hold shift to disable those effects, which I think is pretty darn cool. Now, much like regular archaeology in Minecraft, you can use the brushes to clear out suspicious sand and find different various types of items. And then you can use like the iron brush, which obviously moves a little bit faster, which is nice as well. Obviously, the higher tier weapon or the higher tier brush that you have, the faster you're gonna be able to clean out these items. Quick disclaimer for the archaeology table here, you will need to be at luck 15 in order to use this as well. And then the woodcutter is going to be at farming level 8. Moving on, we have some various crafting tables from the chipped mod pack here. Now, quick disclaimer, most of these are at various different levels or in various different categories that you unlock them as well. The earliest one that you will be able to unlock is the loom table here at level 10. Moving on here, we have the glass blower here. You could take any glass and throw it right into here and you'll get a bunch of different kinds of glass blocks. Same is true for pretty much every other crafting table here. They have some unique blocks that you'll be able to use. For the carpenter table, you can use logs of any kind. For the mason table, it's going to be stone of any kind. And you get tons of different kinds of blocks from these. Like there's a lot of options for anybody that loves to build. Next up is the tinkering table. You can get different kinds of redstone torches, lamps, blocks of redstone, and lanterns. That is unlocked at smithing level 15. Mason table is at mining 15. Carpenter's table is at level 15 health. And then archery 15 for the glass blower. Probably should have started off with those. And then you have the loom, which obviously we already talked about. Stamina at level 10. Throw any wool in there and you get a bunch of different types of wool patterns to utilize. For the botanist table, you will need to be at farming level 15. And you can change your kinds of whatever pumpkins you may have. As you can see here, we have another jack-o'-lantern, which I think is really cool. You can obviously get different types of ice, gravel, dirt, and sand. If we throw this in here, you can see we have a whole bunch of different kinds of jack-o'-lanterns that we can make as well. And then finally, we have the alchemy table at alchemy level 15. And here you can go ahead and throw in a whole bunch of different kinds of blocks here. We got obsidian, crying obsidian, glowstone, sea lantern, soul sand, and block of amethyst. I'm quite interested to see what these sea lanterns will look like. Okay, apparently it doesn't work with sea lanterns, so wiki is wrong. Okay, so the soul sand you can put in the botanist workbench and you get some pretty cool. So amethyst, and glowstone, and crying obsidian. Yes, those go into the alchemy table. All right, so it's the tinkering table that takes the sea lanterns. These are some pretty interesting sea lantern designs though. And it's the mason table that takes obsidian to get various different kinds of obsidian blocks. Now, obviously to make each and every kind of crafting table for the chipped mod, you can see right here. For the glass blower, you will need 1 brick block, 4 logs of crafting table, glass furnace, and a iron ingot. Carpenter's table, you'll need a crafting table, wood axe, 3 logs, a plank, and an iron ingot. For the mason's table, you will need a brick, 2 iron ingots, 2 logs, piece of clay, and a crafting table. For the tinker's table, you will need a piece of TNT, 2 logs, 2 planks, a piston, and a redstone torch. For the loom, you will need a piece of wool, 4 logs, and 3 sticks, along with a crafting table. For the botanist, you will need 3 flower pots, 2 planks, 2 sticks, and a crafting table. And lastly, but not least, the alchemy table with a brewing station, an enchantment table, and 4 planks and a crafting bench. Real quick before moving on, I did almost forget about the brewing cauldron here. If you take a look into here, you'll be able to see that you're able to make a bunch of different kinds of potions that are different from regular Minecraft. So if we take a look in here, you can see that we can get the armor flask, which takes some hibiscus, a glistening melon, and a water bottle. Along with a glass bottle, we'll be able to make 1 armor flask, which increases our armor for about 5 minutes. Now you may be thinking to yourself, you know, sometimes the vanilla boats, they get you to where you need to go, but they don't feel really all that exciting. Well, I want to tell you guys that there's a mod called Small Ships that introduces 4 different kinds of ships that you're going to be able to use. The first one that you're going to be able to make is the cog, which then you'll be able to make a galley, a brig, and then a dracar. Now, for these 4 ships, they do have some more obviously demanding types of things you will need to utilize in order to make these ships, such as for the cog, you will need 3 boats, 2 leads, and a sail. We'll get to that in a second. Then for the brig, you'll need 3 boats with chests, 2 sails, and a lead. For the galley, you will need 2 chests, a sail, 3 leads, and 3 boats. And then lastly, the Drakkar, you will need 3 boats, 2 chests, a lead, 2 string, and a sail. Now, in order to make a sail, you're going to need 5 pieces of wool, 2 logs, and 2 leads, which will get you 1 sail. Now, the cool thing that I like about this mod is that it has cannons. Yeah, you can put cannons on your boats. So in order to make a cannon, you'll need 1 string, 3 iron blocks, and 2 logs to make yourself 1 cannon. And then you're able to obviously load these with cannonballs using 8 iron nuggets and 1 gunpowder, and that will produce 2 cannonballs. And one of the unique things I want to point out with the Drakkar as well is this obviously looks like a Viking ship, wouldn't you agree? Well, you're actually able to throw shields onto this Viking ship so that you're able to properly defend yourself. I think it holds up to about 8. Obviously, you can customize your shields as well, so you can give yourself a personalized look and everything like that. And you're able to also dye your sails, a basic dye and a sail and a crafting bench. Now, obviously, with these, they come with extra inventory space. As you can see here, the cog has quite a bit of inventory space. 107 slots of inventory space for that one. You get the point. You get a lot of storage space in these things. It's honestly really cool. Now, the one way that you'll be able to get around, obviously 2 of these ships, you have paddles on them. So you can just simply, hitboxes are a little wonky on these. So once you actually get on it, you can then right click and then you'll be able to start riding. Obviously, since these have paddles, you're able to get around pretty easily, much similar to a regular boat. Now you do also have the option of using the sail. In order to use the sail, you may need to check your keybinds because mine was switched around, but if you just hit R, your sail will come out and you'll automatically just start moving. Dependent on obviously the wind aspect of the game. Obviously it's not going to be the greatest, but nonetheless you can utilize sails as well. Now some of these boats do actually have a slight bonus dependent on the type of weather that you're in. So for the Drakkar and the cog, those work better in cold biomes. You get a slight speed boost with those. And then the brig and the galley work better in warmer biomes. So if we hop on to the brig here, obviously I'm hitting W right now to move forward. That doesn't work. As soon as I hit R to lower the sails, I get moving. And I'm moving pretty quick here. This is honestly pretty freaking sweet. I'm not gonna lie. I can't wait to get my hands on these in my playthrough because I want to be able to experience this. And now obviously with using W and S, you can raise and lower the sails as well, so you can move faster, slower, anything like that, or just press R and you'll stop moving. Now when it comes to the cannons, some of these ships will only have a limit of, like, for example, the cog can hold up to 4. Galley here can only hold 2. The galley can hold 6, or I'm sorry, the brig can hold 6. The Drakkar can actually not hold any cannons, unfortunately. So if you're actually wanting to be able to utilize cannons, I highly suggest you go with the cog, the galley, or the brig. Now, in order to use these cannons, I would highly suggest first and foremost, you go ahead and throw some cannonballs into your ship here. And then when you're out on the sea, you know, you come across some pirates, whatever, you can then hold space and you will start shooting cannons, depending on which one you're looking at. And then if I look this way, cannons are shooting off. Honestly, this would be so much fun to take out on the water against some damn pillagers and wreak havoc on them for as much as they have tortured me whenever I've been on the high seas. I'm so excited to actually try these out. Alright, so I've actually gone ahead and hopped into spectator mode now because I wanted to talk a little more about the structures that you'll be able to find around the world. Now, there's obviously revamped dungeons, revamped caves, all that kind of stuff that you will be able to explore, but I did want to highlight a few of the other structures as well that you'll be able to find, such as this temple here. I believe it's what it's called at the top. It doesn't seem like anything super extravagant, super amazing. As you go down an adventure, you'll be able to find tons of useful stuff. Iron, emeralds, brings a little bit of a challenge to playing the game as well, because this doesn't exactly look very traversable, but you will be able to find some pretty awesome stuff. For example, this totem of growth right here. It's sitting right here. It's important to explore the world because you'll be able to find amazing stuff such as that. Now, that was almost very dangerous. Obviously, you can see here we got a whole bunch of useful good stuff around here, and some of these structures will actually have special maps that will take you towards finding these these special dungeons like the labyrinth, which we're going to go ahead and take a look at next. So, taking a look at this mod called Dungeons Now Loading, it generates some specialized structures such as the labyrinth here that you'll be able to find, and it presents a very unique challenge to the game. Obviously, as you can see here, there's custom mobs, there's custom items, a whole bunch of fun things to interact with, and just something that is actually pretty fun to explore. I did come across one of these while doing my own playthrough, and yeah, let me tell you, it is not easy. You definitely need to be prepared and geared up for the action that you're going to experience or experiencing while going through this dungeon here. Now, at the end of this dungeon, there is a boss, which I personally have not seen yet. And when I tell you that these structures are massive, I mean they are massive. Take a look at this. There is another section to this labyrinth here. Okay, I see now. So yeah, these are in fact attached together. These are massive structures. Yeah, this is just a massive structure that I've apparently barely even scratched the surface on when I was going through one of these in my playthrough. So you'll be able to find the dungeon maps for the labyrinth in some of these kinds of chests, whether it be from a simple dungeon like this, or you can even find some on the surface as well. I believe I found one in like a witch's coven or whatever, something like that in my playthrough, which I think I got really lucky finding. I would highly suggest just exploring the world because there are some amazing dungeons and whatnot that you'll be able to explore, take on, and you'll be able to use that loot to really help yourself progress through this mod pack. So one of the final things I wanted to cover in this video that I think will be very helpful for people as well is enchanting. So obviously, when you reach alchemy level 5 in your skills, you'll unlock use to the enchantment table. Now, I have myself set at level 5 right now, but when I go ahead and throw my stuff in, despite having all 15 bookshelves that I need to get level 30 enchants, I only have access to this very first one. So you may be thinking to yourself, well, how am I able to get more enchanting level? Once you get yourself to level 10 alchemy, that is when you'll be able to get to the next level enchant unlocked. So level 5 alchemy, you unlock the very first enchant for your tools. At level 10, you unlock the second tier enchants, your weapons, tools, armors, whatever you may be trying to enchant. And then once you hit alchemy level 18 here, we'll take a look really quick. We're at alchemy level 18. It doesn't specify in the skills, unfortunately. So at level 10, we were able to get the second level of enchants. It doesn't say that in our skills here, but then once we hit level 18, it doesn't say it here either. So I hope this portion is quite helpful for everybody. But once you hit level 18, you will then unlock the final enchant that you're going to be able to get. So we now have all 3 tiers of enchants for our sword. And just as a quick test here, we have our pickaxe as well, and our armor also have all 3 tiers of enchants. But that is going to do it for today's video, everybody. I hope this video was informational for you guys, and hopefully just giving you guys a little bit more insight for some of the other features in this mod pack and helping you guys get along with progressions as well. If you think this video was informational for you, please make sure to leave a like on it. Comment down below, was there something that I potentially missed that you guys would like me to elaborate a little bit on? If you want to see more content just like this, consider subscribing as well. I cover the Aged mod pack on my channel, very much so. I have my current playthrough going on right now, going live on Tuesdays and Fridays at 7 p.m. EST. So hop into one of my chats, say hello. That is it. That is all. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.